guys, it's Aza Marie with my Crazy Beautiful Mess. If you guys want to join the messy family, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Today we're going to be talking about my experience at a private school and what it was like. So yeah, tune in. So I started private school. I guess like my first private school ever was like in first grade. No. Like preschool. I guess preschool I went to Montessori schools, which were just a little bit more hands-on. So anyway, it was a Montessori school that I started when I was in pre-kindergarten. So when I was like 3 years old with my cousins, we went. And it was kind of cool because we just got to learn and do whatever we wanted to do. So if we wanted to work on reading, we could work on reading. If we wanted to work on cursive, we got to do that. It was just like a very autonomous kind of schooling education setting. We got to learn and do a lot of different like hands-on projects and different things like that. So it was kind of cool. And you had multiple ages together. So you had like 2-year-olds to like probably like 4 to like 6-year-olds, maybe older than that. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I was little. Then I went to another Montessori school in 2nd grade, and it was like a whole new school. So then I was at this new school, and it was a lot harder to kind of like mesh in with the people. Like I felt like it was just like a totally different experience and totally new, and all of a sudden I had to try to get these people to like me, and it just felt like it felt like more of like going from like a private school to a public school kind of setting, because just no one liked me, and it was just really frustrating and hard. And I mean, I was also like 7 years old, but like people can be mean when you're 7. It's crazy. So anyways, then I was at that school. Then 2nd grade, I went to a private Catholic school. And that was like a whole new transition too. And all of a sudden, like I was more in like a formal education setting. So it wasn't just kids running all over doing whatever they wanted to do kind of for their schooling. And it was just like a shock. I was just like, whoa. And then we had like nuns as teachers and had a lot more like church stuff going on, obviously, than like when you don't go to a religious school, I guess. And so that was like also a little shock to like my little like 7-year-old self. And I don't know if I really liked it, honestly. I don't think I really liked that school. There was like this one girl who like I know in chorus mainly, and like all these things, like she was just so mean. But like in chorus, she would like poke me, and so like I turn around because like why? Just why are you poking someone? And she'd be like, don't stare at me. And it's like, okay, like you just freaking poked me. And you're wondering why I'm not turning around and be like, well, what the hell are you doing to me? You know, like, what are you doing? But anyway, so yeah, so then that was that schooling, which was like, okay, it was kind of cool because my cousin went too, and she lived kind of close, and so we got to hang out after school, which was fun. And so that was 1 year. After that, I went to public school all of a sudden. So then for 3rd grade, 4th, 5th, I was in a public school setting. If you guys don't really know the whole like transition from private to public school, it's different, but it's not so crazy. So I started all of a sudden in 3rd grade, and I was the new student because like obviously I was new. And it was my first time ever in a public school. And I was 8 years old, so like I wasn't that old, but I wasn't that young either. And so at first it was just kind of like boring. I had this girl like show me around, and she was the most boring person ever. I was like, and then a few weeks into school, we had this new girl start. So then all of a sudden I wasn't the new girl anymore. And so I had her, so the teacher was like, who wants to show her around? And I was like, I will, because I just wanted to get like away from the other girl who was showing me around every day for like the past few weeks. And I was like, I don't like her. I don't want to like walk around the schoolyard with her and have her just like talk at me all day. So that new girl became my best friend from 3rd grade till 8th grade, and we're still friends. Like we hung out a couple years ago. It's like so many years ago, but I mean with COVID and everything. And yeah, she lives in a different city, in a different state that I'm in right now. And when I went to that city and state for my friend's bridal shower, like her and I got coffee before the the bachelorette party. Yeah, it was a bachelorette party, sorry. But anyway, so yeah, so then I was in all of a sudden a big public school with all these students, and it was like cool. I liked it. We had like fun art stuff and music, which was cool. And one of the music teachers selected me and I think 6 of us. There were 6 of us or 5 of us total, and she would just have us sing and do like commercial work with her, which was super cool. And I thought that was like amazing and fun, and it was special because like my friend didn't get chosen, and she was a really good singer too. I thought she was better than me, but apparently that teacher liked me, and so I thought that was kind of cool. So then that was till like 5th grade. Then for 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade, my mom decided to try homeschooling. So that was like really fun to try to figure out. And that was just like, it was cool because like I learned how to study and do stuff on my own, but it was also like kind of like we went a little bit further back to like get for it, I guess. Like in some sections like math, we were a little bit behind in the math curriculum because the school curriculum they put with it was just like, it didn't correlate to like real life work. So that was a little bit frustrating for me with like college and high school and figuring out math. But besides that, it was a really cool experience. It wasn't like that weird, and like I still hung out with my friends, so it wasn't that different, I guess. I don't know. Then for high school, I was all of a sudden thrown all girls high school, which was like not the best time to go from like homeschooling to a private all-girls school. I mean, girls, first of all, are mean. Girls are a lot meaner than guys. So if you're going to an all-girls school, you're going to be getting mean girl a lot worse than if you were going to like a public school and you had some mean girls. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But they were like cruel. Like, and my parents were super strict. So like the first week of school, this girl took my phone and she made my voicemail, like all my calls basically go to her inbox. So my mom was calling me because like I didn't know where the hell my mom was, because like it was really, like it was a huge courtyard, like when you're first starting at the school and like trying to figure it out. Like I had no idea where she was or like which car was hers out of the whole lineup that all looks like the same cars. And so my mom's calling me and getting really mad because I'm not answering. My phone is going to this girl's voicemail. My mom is leaving insane voicemails on this girl's voicemail, like, why the F are you answering my daughter's phone? Like stuff like that. Like, oh my God, it was insane. So that happened, and my mom like talked to the school because like my parents just like have to get involved in everything that they see. It's frustrating. But so my mom calls the school and she's talking to them about it. I was like, dude, like I don't even care. Like, so what if that girl is a jerk? Like, I don't care. I'm never gonna see her again in my life anyway after these like 4 freaking years. And so yeah, that's like basically how my schooling went for 4 years. So high school I hated. I absolutely hated all of it. Like I hated the school. I hated the people in the school. The teachers were like fine. The education was okay. I wouldn't say it's like really amazing and worth it because it was expensive. I think for what it cost, it wasn't necessarily worth it. I know my parents didn't choose it for religious reasons. They chose it because the schools by us are so overcrowded that they have like extended little like trailer park lesson areas. And even then, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just not a great school that we would have gone to. And so that's why they chose this school. So I don't know. I mean, it was fine. Like, I had decent grades except in math. So like all my grades were pretty much A's, except then like my math grades were always like C's or D's. Like it was terrible. So I don't know. I mean, I did sports in high school. I did soccer, I did diving, and I did swimming. And it was like fine. It was high school. It wasn't like the best place ever. It wasn't the worst place ever. It was just frustrating and all girls. And so, I mean, all girls is going to be mean. My sister absolutely loved the school. She like actually made a lot of friends with all the fake people there. She is not friends with anyone from high school really, except maybe a couple people. But besides that, like, I don't know, something happened like her senior year. I don't really know. But I think like she had to break up with this guy, and then he told everyone to ignore her basically. So they did, because that's what like private schools do, is they're just mean. Like meaner than like most people, like most schools. I feel like, I don't know, I mean that's my own opinion too. So anyway, the education itself, like you did learn a decent amount, but it wasn't like amazing. I feel like their school, like when you go to a private school, the biggest thing is you take opportunities away. Like I know that sounds super unpopular, But like in a public school, you have a lot more options to classes. You have better paid teachers, so they're gonna be a little like, I don't know, motivated to teach. I don't know. They're gonna be paid better, so you're gonna attract better teachers, I guess. I don't know how to say that. I guess the like pros with private schools, uniforms. You don't have to buy a ton of clothes and change your clothes all the time and have people like judge you for your clothes, except on Fridays we had jeans days, so you could wear whatever you want on Fridays. Obviously the education's good. Like colleges, seeing that on your transcripts, they see it as better than just like a public school. Our grading scale was insane, so it made college's grading scale easier kind of in comparison. I don't know. I feel like the school I went to didn't really prepare you guys for the real world, and that's kind of what you would think like a preparatory, like a college prep school would do. But like I never realized that my grades in high school mattered to my to what schools I could get in. And I got into every school I applied to, so I'm not saying like I couldn't get into schools and I wasn't doing well. I just like we didn't talk about the future. We didn't talk about options really. College is basically the only option. Like there was like one girl I think not going, like she was gonna do art, and everyone was just like kind of like shunned her. They're like, oh, like you're just gonna be like trash basically. So it was kind of like college is the only kind of like option mentality. And I feel like that's not that good because there were a few students in that school that had like D average grades. And so like if you have D average grades, even at a really good like private prep school, you're not going to get into the best colleges ever anyway. And you could just know that there's other opportunities. You don't have to be like tied to college, but we didn't really learn stuff like that. So I think they could do better with that. I think they could offer a few extra courses just to kind of try to compete with public schools a little bit. The school itself, like how the school day went is I think we had 8 periods during the day. So we started at like 8, I think around 8 say, and we got done at like 3:30-ish. And so yeah, I don't know. We had like so many classes, and like lunch was 20 minutes. Lunch was so short. It was insane. And like I hated our cafeteria. We had 4 lunches, so like if you didn't have someone you liked in your lunch, you were basically screwed. So I would basically just eat in our foyer a lot, or just like not eat and do homework because like I wasn't super into food at that time in my life, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so it was an interesting school. We had like senior year, I think around us we had like 5 or 6 students like die. So it was just like kind of crazy from like, and so I think like, I don't know, I think it was just an interesting experience, not one that I would want to repeat. If I ever have kids, I would totally let them choose where they wanted to go to school, like for high school. And I mean, if we had terrible schools, I might like make them go to a private school. But like if the schools are just like whatever, they could apply to a different school. They could, because you can do that. You can like apply to a different school in your area and then go to that one instead. You just have to like provide your own transportation, which we had to do anyway. So wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, I think that's like what I would do with my own children, just because like I know like it sucks having to go to a place that you dread every single day. Like every day I would think of like, what excuse can I use to not go today? Like, and that sounds terrible, but it was like every single day I was just like, this is the worst place in the world that I have to go to every single day. And it just felt like when you're a kid, it just feels like when you're a kid and you're having to go to this place that is just like the worst place ever, it is just so like it just feels like you're drowning in like quicksand or something. Like it's just like every day I was just like, how do I not go? And then I'd have to go, and it was just like no, and again and again and again, and every day. And finally it'd be like the weekend and it'd be like, okay, a few days of like, or like 2 days of like not having to go to freaking school and deal with all the people and all of the like, I mean, I'm not saying it's like, don't ever send your kids to private schools, because like if my kids really wanted to go to private school, I'd be like, it's on you, but I don't want to hear about it. And if you guys hate it, like obviously we can like transfer you, but like that will be their own choice. I would never push that, because as a kid I hated it, and I was like not quiet about it either. My parents knew I hated it. like, they knew. And my parents knew. Like, I was not super quiet about it. They knew. My mom is like, later on, she's like, I shouldn't have made you go to that school all the time. Like, I should have just, like, listened to you and, like, put you in a different school. Because there were, like, multiple, like, religious schools in the area. And like I said, we weren't even going for religious reasons. So yeah, sports. Obviously, going to a private school, you're going to be, like, we were D3 for sports. We were bad at sports. They were kind of emphasized because we had, like, first team in state for swimming for a couple years in a row. Then we were, like, third, so we had a decent team for that. So that was kind of, like, emphasized. Our track was decent. Again, not anything amazing with sports, but also not bad with sports. And they just, like, you had to have a grade. Like, you had to have above C grades in every single grade to be able to play. So, like, I had to go take my, like, report card every week and get it signed to be able to keep playing. I had to take my grade card and get it signed every week. Some teachers would do, like, a little, like, arrow to, like, the whole month and just be like, okay. And then some would just actually make you bring it to them every single week and then sign it. And so, yeah, I never had my grade slip below that when I was in sports. After, like, off seasons, I did have, like, D's and calculus for a little bit. So there was that. But, yeah. I can't really think of other pros. Like, if you went to school with a lot of these kids growing up and then wanted to go to, like, the high school with them too, like, obviously that's a pro. Like, I mean, but, like, other than that, like, there's no, like, huge advantage. It's not like we got, like, a secret tips on how to get into college. I had people, like, really, like, walk us through the process or help us. Like, I felt like I had no idea what was going on the whole time. Like, I was just like, someone said I have to do this, so I have to do it. And so, yeah, that's just kind of how my high school experience was, I guess. I don't know. I can go more into depth on parts if you guys want. I don't know, like, what you guys really want to know about private school. Like, I mean, really, there's not that much that goes on. We couldn't do a lot of things. We couldn't have water bottles because people were bringing vodka in, like, years ago. We had to do church services. I don't really think that many people at the school really partied or did anything bad. So I guess, like, if you're trying to keep your kids away from, like, drugs and alcohol influence, it's like some private schools are, like, super, super big on that. And then, like, ours really wasn't. Like, there were a couple graduation parties that had alcohol. But, like, besides that, like, people really didn't get crazy. Like, maybe people smoked weed a little on, or, like, a couple kids maybe had, like, a few beers with their friends. But, like, we had really nothing that crazy going on. There were, like, a couple people who had sex in high school, but most of the people didn't even have sex in our high school, I don't think. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Our music programs, like our musical and our chorus and stuff was big, but I don't know why. It was weird. Like, I don't even know how popularity worked. It was weird. Like, there was just, like, a lot of people were, like, friends with people. Like, you'd see them and you'd be like, oh, hey. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a couple of people from my high school that I'm still friends with on my Facebook, but most of them I'm not. And most people in high school, like, I wouldn't care if I didn't see anyone from my high school again ever in my life. Like, honestly, that's how I feel about that. I chose a college based on no one from my high school going there. So just so you guys have perspective on where I'm coming from with it all, like, I am from the category of really, I don't care if I ever see anyone from high school again. I don't want to think about high school again. Like, the memories were just not great. They weren't amazing. It was not fun. My sister had, like, this game going with my mom where she would just, like, basically say I did whatever she wanted to say I did that day, so I'd get in trouble. And so it's like every single day I'd come home and I'd be, like, in huge trouble, and for driving my sister to school because she texted my mom and say I was rude to her. And I was, like, so, like, I remember that day. I was trying to be so nice to my sister. Like, I was like, what do you have going on today? Do you have tests? Like, I was trying to make conversation with her. She was quiet. So finally we just listened to music for, like, the last 5 minutes. And I come home to that, so I was just like, great. So basically, like, it was kind of like a mix between my high school and then the fact that my parents were always mad at me too, so I could never do anything. So like people would be like, oh, do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to do this, or this? And I was always like, oh, I can't do that. Like, I'm grounded. And I think people at first, like, and like in high school, when you give a lot of excuses about hanging out with people, like, I think people just kind of like dismiss it, like, oh yeah, they're busy, but like, how busy are they really? And so, like, it was, like, constant. I mean, constantly, every time I wanted to do something would happen, and my sister would get, like, my mom so mad at me, where she'd be like, you're absolutely never leaving the house again, you're not doing this, like, how could you be rude to your baby sister? Like, I was just, like, didn't do anything, but okay. So, like, that was, like, my life in high school. So, like, my whole life where I was at was not, like, perfect either. So there is that to, like, take into account, too. But yeah, high school was just, I don't know. So that was my experience at a private school. Everyone's experience is going to be different too. So you are going to have some people's stories that are more negative like mine. And then you're going to have people who are super positive and are like, best thing ever. All my kids are going. Like, it's great. So I don't know if you guys, I don't know what you guys think, but that is my opinion on private schools from my experience. That is how my private school life went, I guess, in high school. And just like my schooling, kind of like weird, like little weave circle kind of thing. But yeah, and I mean, I liked college. I'll say that. I liked college. I did really well at college. Like, college was a completely different story for me. I'll go over like a story time, like my college story time eventually. But there's so many different parts of college. Like, I feel like college was like a whole book of my life. It felt like a long time, and it felt like just so different. Like, every year just felt like a completely different book even. Like, I don't know how to explain that. But yeah. If you guys like this, I hope you guys did like this. I hope it like informed you somewhat. Like, if you guys were thinking about it for your children, if you were just thinking about it in general, if you were thinking about it for yourself, if you were, I don't know. I hope you guys just, I don't know. I hope it enlightened you and at least gave you some information about how some private schools are. Like I said, that is just my opinion, and it's not everyone's opinion at the school. Everyone's opinion on the school is very different. I think a lot of people really did like the school because you didn't have to, like, get dressed in your own clothes every morning, so you didn't have to, like, think about what to wear. They, like, drove you to get decent grades, and the sports were okay. It wasn't terrible. Like, it was just, for me, my experience was terrible. But, like, in general, the experience for most people was, like, probably okay. Or good even, but I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching my crazy beautiful mess. Again, like I said, if you want to join the messy family, hit that subscribe button. If you guys wanted the chance to make $1,600, just sign up. In the link, I put my Webull link. Sign up. If you guys want the chance to get $1,600, just sign up with my referral link. I put my Webull in the description. As soon as you upload $100 on the platform, you can get 4 stocks up to $1,600 each. So you guys can make bank. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too much of like a downer. If you guys were like go hung for like, I don't know, public schools, private schools, whatever it was. If you guys really like private schools, I hope it wasn't a downer. If you guys hated private or public schools, I hope this wasn't a downer either. This was just my experience, and my experience, because of the experiences I had, is going to be very different from everyone else. But yeah, okay, bye.